Shalom, family. Thank Christ bless y'all. Thank you for your patience. You know, all praise to the Most High for IT that got us started. Well, tonight's class is going to be entitled Forgotten Hatred. Forgotten Hatred. You may be like, what does that mean? Well, if we as a people, as a collective, would examine ourselves, we'd begin to see the things in our lives that we struggle with as a result of things we've done in the past that we have not gotten over yet, that we still desire. Some of us sit in God's house and we really have no desire to be here. It's because we miss the things of the world. We still covet, sisters covet orange pants. They covet BBLs. They covet dressing promiscuously. Brothers sitting in the house, God's house, and they miss the jump offs. They used to run through 3 or 4 women a week. They miss Christmas. They nice little perky little Christmas tree, and they miss their star on the top, and they miss the jingle bells, and you miss all this freaking garbage of the world, and you sit in God's house every single Sabbath, and you have forgotten that you hate God. And if you examine yourself and bethink yourself and accept the fact of your present condition, God can heal you. All right? So watch this. Give me Jeremiah 12 and verse 7. We're going to read to verse 11. This wasn't in my notes, but since IT gave me all this extra time and class got to be short, let's read that. So y'all got to think about this. I want someone to speak loudly. When you look at a house that is to have husband, wife, and children, in God's eyes, what is the house supposed to be filled with? Brothers, somebody. A house. What is the house supposed to be filled with from a man that fears God? What does the household look like? That's supposed to be what in the house? Honor. What else? Respect. What else? Order. Come on. Y'all can sound like a Christian for a minute. What is supposed to be in the house? Faith. Come on, what is it? There's a word that Christians love to use. Love. It's supposed to be love in the house, right? Okay. It is supposed to be hatred, envy, jealousy, right? None of that stuff's supposed to be in the house, right? So why do we come in God's house knowing what a house is supposed to look like, but yet we sit in God's house and we have those same attributes of people of the world? So if you're not participating in things in the congregation, if you're not available to get the Lord's work done, then why are you in God's house? You're not suiting any purpose, but you're just taking up space. Watch this. Some of us got to examine ourselves and wonder why we still come every Sabbath, every feast day, every event we show up, but yet we don't put our hands to nothing concerning the Bible command us to do. Give me Jeremiah 12 and 7. Watch this.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 12, verse 7. I have forsaken mine house.
God said, I have turned my back on my own house. We are God's house. So at one time, God said, I turned my back on you. Go ahead.
I have left mine heritage.
My heritage. You know what a heritage is? Heritage is possessions and belongings. You got to understand, you all belong to the Lord. You don't sit it. Think about that. You go sit in another man's house and you go against every rule that he has to give you. Why even come to? If I came to your house, soldier, stand up. Get the mic. I gotta ask you a question. What's your name?
Test. Soldier Benya.
Okay, Soldier Benya. If I came to your house and you had the rules in your house, and I came to your household and I began to speak to your wife, I'm following her around the house, right? I'm whispering to her when you're not looking, and she's telling you all these things I'm doing behind your back. and I'm going to your refrigerator without your permission, right? I'll go into your bedroom and kick my feet up and watch TV, and I tell your wife to give me something to drink. Talk to me.
You getting kicked out.
I'm getting kicked, and I might get hands put on me.
Oh, yeah.
That's the point.
That's right.
So then, with that scenario, how can we come in God's house and act the same way?
We can't.
We do.
We shouldn't.
We fornicate amongst the congregation. We're secretly using drugs. We disrespect each other. There's hatred in God's house every single day. And we sit amongst each other like we love each other, like we really care. How can I say that I love my neighbor if I don't love God first? It's impossible. So what I'm showing you is that we play church with fringes and words of blue on. And we're no different from the Christian church as Israelites if we don't take the truth seriously and make sure we're in God's house and we're sincere and we're not faking it. Does that make sense? Okay, watch this. Read that again.
It says, I have forsaken my house. I have left my heritage. I have given the dearly beloved of my soul.
I've given the people that I love dearly. To what?
Into the hand of her enemies.
I had to give her over to her enemies because she don't love me anymore. Mm-hmm. God said, I loved you, and I had to give you over to your enemies. And as a result, when we look at our people in the world, what have we turned into? We've turned into niggas. The whole world is laughing at us. We're mocked. Why are we mocked? Because if we examine ourselves, we've forgotten how much we hated God. And sometimes some of us really think. We ask ourselves, how come I can't get myself right? Why isn't my mind fixed on God's will? And why can't I get in God's house and do what I'm supposed to do? Well, maybe you've forgotten that you hate God. Maybe there's some unexposed hatred in your spirit that you have not resolved yet, and it's hindering you from doing what's necessary. All right? Read verse. What is that? Read the next verse. Was that verse 8?
Yeah, verse 8. Mine heritage is unto me as a lion in the forest.
God said, my people has turned against me. You're roaring after me. You despise me. Read.
It crieth out against me.
They speak. Now think about it. Look at the analogy God gives. He said, I woken you up out of your filth. I kept you from being a whore. I kept you from getting AIDS. I kept you from killing yourself in the world. I kept you from death. I kept you from prison. I saved your life on numerous of times. Yet I spared you and I bring you into my house. Mm-hmm. And you still can't get yourself right for me. You still cannot give me your heart like I gave you mine. Get a microphone to the brother behind you right there. I want him to call. I want him to say his name. What's your name, sir? Who am I talking to?
Brother Ozias.
Okay, Brother Ozias. I got to ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, if a man came into your house, right? You allowed him into your household, and you had how would you expect him to conduct himself?
With respect.
With respect.
Yes.
Okay. And if he didn't conduct himself with respect, what would be your first state of mind?
Ask him to leave.
Ask him to leave.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Good job. Okay. Read that again.
Mine heritage is unto me as a lion in the forest. It crieth out against me. Therefore have I hated it.
You see, Brother Isaiah said, if someone came to his house, just as Brother Benyah, Soldier Benyah, he said, if someone disrespected him, he would ask them to leave. All right? So how many times have people amongst the congregation just left? Many times, right? You don't think that's God telling them to leave? Eventually he get tired of you and he put you out. You'll come with some vain excuse. Oh, they're evil to me. They're evil to me. Leadership, it was the wrong judgment. You begin to point fingers at everybody. Right? Why? You got to think about it. If you left God's house, it wasn't voluntarily. Who in their right freaking state of mind will leave God's house and go back into the midst of sin and you think that you're going to make the kingdom of heaven? That means God has kicked you out and you still think that you're good. That's why we have to all examine ourselves to make sure that we're all moving in the right spirit. Because it's very dangerous how we move, how we treat each other, right? The backbiting, the slander, right? The evil competition that we have. I think I'm better than you because of whatever status I may have. My car is better. My house is better. Whatever you think you got is better than your neighbors. That's not how a house is filled with the Spirit of Christ is supposed to move. You got to remember, y'all, if you claim this as your house, right, you got to understand it's God's house first. So if you claim this is your house, then how come you don't take care of it like it's yours? How come you don't treat people in God's house as your family the way you're supposed to be treating them? You know why? Because if you still have forgotten hatred in your spirit, if you're still forgotten that mercy was given unto you, you never give mercy unto your neighbor. Never. Watch this. Keep reading. What verse we at? 8?
We're at verse 9.
Go ahead.
Verse 9. Mine heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. The birds around about are against her. Come ye, assemble all the beasts of the field. Come to devour. Many pastors have destroyed my vineyard.
God said many pastors, many Christian churches have destroyed the children of Israel. The white man's Christianity, Islam, all these other religions of the world have destroyed God's heritage. Read.
They have trodden down my portion underfoot. They have made my pleasant portion a desolate wilderness.
You see what we become? We become desolate. We've become freaking desolate. And honestly, when I look at what's going on around social media and in the world when it comes to our people, telling you, if it wasn't for God's commandments, I telling you, sometimes it's unbearable. You know what I'm saying? When you learn to love the Lord, you learn to love his people. So read that last scripture again.
Verse 10. Many pastors have destroyed my vineyard. They have trodden down my portion underfoot. They have made my pleasant portion a desolate wilderness.
A desolate wilderness. So we've become desolate. And you know what? When you look at the word desolate, right? You look at the word desolate, it's going into deserted, barren, right? It's going into bare, wasted. We are a wasted people. What verse is that?
That was verse 10.
That was verse 10. Okay. Keep reading.
Verse 11. They have made it desolate. And being desolate, it mourneth unto me. The whole land is made desolate, because no man lays the heart.
You see that? Don't nobody care about us. So if we know that the world don't care about us, why we come in God's house and care about each other the way the world does? Why even come in God's house if you think like that? A lot of us sitting every single week, brothers and sisters are kicked out for fornication, kicked out for adultery, kicked out for violence, kicked out for using drugs. What more does a God have to do for you to understand that his care and his love has already been extended to you, and there's nothing else he can do to help you if you don't receive him? There's nothing else Christ can do for you if you haven't received him as of yet. There's nothing left but desolation and death. I mean, we're hopeless if we think there's more that God can do for us than what he already done. He gave his life and he resurrected. What else is there left for him to do? That's why he created the lake of fire. Because he understands that not all Israel is going to return back unto him. He gave the ultimate sacrifice. The ultimate. And what do we do with it? We squander it. We're still stuck on those things that we desire from the world. We still love the sin that lies dormant inside of us. And we don't talk about it. Because if I talk about it, somebody's going to tell me not to do it. So I keep it to myself. If I reveal it, they're going to tell me, they're going to correct me, and then I'm going to be held accountable for those things that I really want to do. Then why sit amongst the house of the Lord if you have no desire to serve him? It doesn't make sense. Why fake it? Why be here? Give me Sirach 12 and 6.
The book of Sirach, chapter 12, verse 6. For the Most High hated sinners.
For all those that are sitting amongst the congregation and you know you're in the midst of sin. Every week we do class after class after class after class, and brothers and sisters leave the congregation. They literally think the world can save them. They've been given over to their own reprobate state of mind. And when you begin to embrace sin secretly, God, the Lord will give you over to that thing. And what happens when you're given over to your sin? You become one with it. And once you become one with it, there's nothing no one else can do to correct you. You're done. You're finished at that point. A lot of you don't. Go ahead. Read.
And will repay vengeance unto the ungodly.
God will repay vengeance. Payback will always come to those who hate God. Read.
And keepeth them against the mighty day of their punishment.
And God will keep you against that mighty day of your punishment. Some of us, God will keep in our present state of mind because he knows we're not going to change. He knows that. So what does that mean? We have forgotten that we hate God. You say, how is it possible to forget that you hate God? Well, those brothers and sisters that come amongst us for years, you understand what the will of God is, and you go back to your vomit, guess what? You've forgotten that hatred that you have for God. And how do you forget about it? Because you don't talk about it. You don't reveal it to those who can help you with it. And what happens? It becomes a permanent part of your mental state of mind. And what happens as a result? You go back into those things you desire the most. Your sin. Read. Was that verse 6?
Yeah, that was it for verse 6.
Okay, watch this. Give me 2nd Esdras. No. Give me Hosea 4, verse 1 through 2.
Okay. The book of Hosea, chapter 4, verse 1. Hear the word of the Lord, ye children of Israel. For the Lord hath a controversy with the inhabitants of the land.
As a father, what's a father's responsibility when it comes to his family? He got to have a place for what? Place for them to live, right? Okay. Hold that right there. We'll come back to Hosea. Give me Ezekiel 11 and 16. So we read earlier in Jeremiah 12 and 7, God said, I've given the people I love over into the hands of their enemies. Right? We desire money, sex, drugs, whatever pleasure the flesh has to offer, we desire that thing. But a man sacrificed himself, the creator of the freaking universe, sacrificed himself for you, and yet that's still not good enough. We still desire sin. We still desire our lust, and we cannot let it go. We just can't get it right. Watch what God says. Every man that loves his family provides somewhere for them to what? To live. Because there's a safe haven. Watch what God said and watch what he done. Read.
Ezekiel chapter 11, verse 16. Therefore say, thus saith the Lord God, although I have cast them far off among the heathen,
and though I've sent you, right, into slavery amongst all the other nations, read.
And although I have scattered them among the countries,
even though you're scattered, read.
Yet will I be to them as a little sanctuary in the countries where they shall come.
Even though God punished us, he said, guess what? Now I'm going to set up pastors and men over the congregations all over the world. I judged you. I punished you. Now I'm going to give you the mercy necessary for you to get yourselves together. He punished us, but there was no abandonment. He punished us, but yet he said, I'm going to bring you back unto myself. Why? Because that's what a real man does. Christ is that real man. He's that God. He's that Father that corrected us. And now we're saying, you know what? Guess what? Now I'm going to give you a house where you can come get your minds right. I'm going to bring healing to you now. Even though you're treacherous, even though you committed adultery, spiritual fornication, even though you did evil against me, and you've forgotten you've done evil, I'm still going to show mercy unto you. I'm going to create little sanctuaries. San Antonio and Houston, and we got Corpus, and not recently Corpus. We got Dallas. Give me some more. Oklahoma. What else? Arkansas, California, Memphis, Germany, New York, Ghana, Japan. Now, think about this, family. God sent us into slavery. Are we not seeing little sanctuaries that IUIC established all over the world? God is showing us that we're fulfilling prophecy. But what we have to do in these last days, we have to remember this is God's house, and even though he sent you in, he can also send you out. This is not the place to come and play church. This is the place to come get healed. That's what the sanctuary is. Read that again.
Ezekiel 11, verse 16. Therefore say, thus saith the Lord God, although I have cast them far off among the heathen, and although I have scattered them among the countries, yet will I be to them as a little sanctuary in the countries where they shall come.
And you know what? As we're amongst the heathens, we become just like them. We act like them. As a matter of fact, we become worse than the heathens. We become that degenerate plant that we surpass the other nations. When you look at the other nations, they don't have debauchery amongst their families to what we have. There's no treachery amongst the other nations. I mean, it's there, but ours is so far above and beyond other nations to the point to where people look at us and they see us as the filth of the earth. They see us as the desolate nation. Nobody cares about us. And even amongst the nation of Israel, we've got to the point now we don't care about each other. We become just like the other nations, even amongst the house of God. You cannot come into God's house and move the way you want to move and treat people the way you feel like that they're to be treated. There's a standard that God set in his house, and we all have to follow that standard, y'all. If you're corrected, accept the correction. If you're guilty, accept your guilt. What, you're gonna miss the kingdom of heaven because you got corrected? No, that's to get your mind prepared for it.
So Hosea chapter 4, verse 1.
No, read verse 2, please.
Verse 2. By swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out and blood toucheth blood.
You know what the scariest thing in the world is to me? It's to sin against God and not knowing I'm sinning against him. That freaking terrifies me. I had a dream the other night of something really bad happened. I can't remember what it was. And I woke up afraid. I woke up scared. Right? So to think in your mind that you're doing good in God's eyes and you sinning against him, there's no greater fear than that than myself. I'm terrified of that thing. Why? Because if that happens, what that means is that God has given me over to my own state of mind. And if he does that, there's no return from that thing. There's no return. All right? Read verse 2 again.
Verse 2. By swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out and blood touches blood.
We kill each other. We got brothers at the camp fighting. We got brothers sleeping with other brothers' wives. I mean, if you're family and you fear our Father that we all share, why would you do such evil to your neighbor? I don't get it. If you don't have some level of sincerity in this truth now, maybe you're not going to never get it. Maybe you're not going to get it. I think I saw a sign, a hand wave in the back saying we're ready, but I'm afraid to look back there. Is that yes or no? Yes? Okay. Thank you. First video.
In 1866, Mississippi made freedom illegal. Right after emancipation, Mississippi passed the Black Codes laws that targeted newly freed black people. No job, arrested, too disrespectful, jailed, then
Pause.
leased out for labor.
If you were too disrespectful to white folks, what happened to you? You went to prison. Shouldn't we have learned then? As we think back about this history, shouldn't we have learned then if we speak evil against white folks, we went to prison? Should that have taught us how to treat each other? Should that have taught us that we're supposed to treat each other better than the other nations treated us? These are the things that we're missing, y'all. These are the things that we have not yet learned. And the Lord is He's prolonging our time to get ourselves right. Because if we showed up right now, the majority of us not going to make it. It wouldn't be a 1/3 sealed. Be a handful of us. So we have to extend the time so we can prepare ourselves for the end time. Guess what? Jacob's trouble is not going anywhere. It's not going to disappear and fade away. In order for us to get the kingdom of heaven, Jacob's trouble must come. The other nations must hunt us. They must imprison us. That's something we must embrace. Christ embraced it. You want to make the kingdom of heaven? Guess what? You got to embrace it too. But you cannot embrace a righteous God if you still love unrighteousness from a God who never cared about you, which is the white man. We all used to worship and serve. The world, even whether you believe it or not, the world worships a so-called white man. He is the God of the earth. And everything he's taught us, we've learned and we desired and we care for. What about our own God? What about our own traditions? What about our own customs? Play that back again. Finally, I get a chance to see a video.
In 1866, Mississippi made freedom illegal. Right after emancipation, Mississippi passed the Black Codes laws that targeted newly freed black people. No job, arrested, too disrespectful, jailed, then leased out for labor unpaid. It wasn't a glitch in the system. It was a system built to re-enslave black people by law. And Mississippi led the way. Follow for more buried laws Mississippi doesn't want you to know existed.
Now, why was that law? Let's read it again. Jeremiah 12:7. Why is it law? Why does the white man pass laws and could treat us so freaking horrifically and no one could do anything about it? The same reason he can kill hundreds of thousands of Palestinians and the world can watch and can't do nothing about it. Because the white man is God upon the freaking earth. But there's a God. Christ is to return to redeem his people out of the hands of his enemies. And you got to prepare yourself because the end time is here. Read that. Let's find out why this white man has such power to pass laws and nothing can be done about it.
So Jeremiah chapter 12, verse 7. I have forsaken mine house. I have left my heritage. I have given the dearly beloved of my soul into the hand of her enemies.
Correct. Jeremiah 2:17.
2:17.
We have when our leadership teach us the history of many captivities we've been in, we have to remember that the Lord sent us into slavery because of our hatred for him. So now that we're returning back to our nationality, we understand what God requires of us. If you still desire the world, what does that mean? There's still forgotten hatred in your spirit. There's still things inside of you that's not right. How can someone give you such a great freaking sacrifice and yet you still think it's not enough? It bewilders me. Read that.
Jeremiah 2, verse 17.
Yeah.
Hast thou not procured this unto thyself, and that thou hast forsaken the Lord thy God, when he led thee by the way? And now what hast thou to do in the way of Egypt, and to drink the water of Sihor? Or what hast thou to do in the way of Assyria, to drink the waters of the river? Thine own wickedness shall correct thee.
God said our own wickedness will correct us. If you would examine yourself and recognize the evil that lies within your spirit and accept the fact that you got the devil in you, then there's hope for you. A lot of us, we just sweep it under the rug. It's going to be okay. I don't have to think about that evil that's inside of me because can't nobody see it. I can just keep it to myself. I can just hide it. I just isolate it. God said, we are a holy people unto the Lord our God. How in the hell can you think that you're holy if you keep in secret sin in the midst of your soul, not talking to anybody about it? Because you're that degenerate plant that's waiting to manifest itself to show forth who you really are. That's what that is. Read that again.
Thine own wickedness shall correct thee, and thy backsliding shall reprove thee.
Mm-hmm.
Now therefore, and see that it is an evil thing and bitter that thou hast forsaken the Lord thy God.
It is evil and it's bitterness that you have towards God. That's that forgotten hatred that's still left in your soul that you refuse to give up. See, some of us got things inside of us that we don't want it. We don't want revealed. Because if it's revealed, that means I have to face it. If it's revealed, that means I have to fix it. A lot of us, honestly, a lot of us don't want to be fixed, y'all. We see this as some kind of social club to come hang out and chill. New moons, we get to dance, right? Some of y'all have replaced the sanctuary for the club. That's what you've done. You go to the club to pick up hoes. Now you come to the sanctuary and you got the same spirit. Which sister gonna give me some? Right? Which sister is gonna be stupid enough to lay down with me if I spit game and quote some scriptures? A lot of you treat the house of God's sanctuary just like you was a damn club on Saturday. And guess what? Just like you went to the club on Saturdays then, you come to the club in God's sanctuary on Saturdays now. There's no difference. Because your mind is not right. What verse you at?
The end of verse 19.
Read that again.
Where we at? Jeremiah 2, verse 19.
Mm-hmm.
Thine own wickedness shall correct thee, and thy backsliding shall reprove thee. Know therefore and see that it is an evil thing and bitter, and that thou hast forsaken the Lord thy God, and that my fear is not in thee, saith the Lord of hosts.
God said, if you got bitterness, see, you got to understand, if there's bitterness inside of you, that means sin is present. Some of you are bitter towards God and you don't even recognize that's considered a hatred if you still desire things he told you not to do. Deep down on the inside, some of us still miss those old ways. Because see, think about it. You spend 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years in the world indulging in the lust of your flesh. Whatever your flesh wanted, that's what you gave it. And now you're coming to the truth a few years, and what happens? Your flesh began to war against you. It began to tell you about all those wonderful things that all the great time you and your flesh had back in the world. And now you're tempted by those things. And you're like, you know what? Damn, I miss fornication. Man, it was nothing more exciting than sleep with another man's wife. There was nothing so exciting than getting high and getting drunk and losing my mind, going to work drunk. Man, I miss those days. A lot of you sit amongst here right now and you think like that. Sisters like, man, all the rocks I used to have, man, it's so beautiful to have so many different men. I don't have to just stay with one. I can have a plethora of rods. and get high. Don't have to worry about the new moons or the Sabbaths or the feast days. I ain't got to worry about showing up and doing no damn decorations for the school. A lot of you got bitterness inside of your soul towards God, and you don't recognize it because you're set on your idolatry that's resting inside of your soul. Read that again.
Jeremiah 2, verse 19.
Uh-huh.
Thine own wickedness shall correct thee, and thy backsliding shall reprove thee.
Mm-hmm.
Know therefore and see that it is an evil thing and bitter that thou hast forsaken the Lord thy God,
Mm-hmm.
and that my fear is not in thee, saith the Lord of hosts.
Mm-hmm.
Verse
What
20.
what verse is that?
That was into verse 19.
Okay. Go ahead.
Verse 20. For of old time I have broken thy yoke and burst thy bands, and thou sayest, I will not transgress.
You see, we've forgotten that we hate God. God said, I've chastised you in the past. I've afflicted you. I've wounded you. Look at the transatlantic slave trade. Look at the sub-Saharan slave trade. Look at the Tang Dynasty slave trade. Look at all the evil things I had to bring upon you because of your transgressions. And yet to the very day in 2025, you still won't serve me, and I've given you sanctuaries for you to heal. We don't get it. We'd rather be in the white man's little Christian churches. You know, there's 45,000 Christian religions all over the world. 45,000. And they're all wicked. Every single one of them. God gave us a place with true knowledge, with true wisdom, with true understanding, where we can come and get our minds right. And what do? We come sit amongst the congregation and we pretend like we're still in a Christian church. Doesn't make sense. What verse is that?
That was the middle of verse 20.
Go ahead.
When upon every high hill and every green tree thou wanderest, playing the harlot. Yet I have planted thee a noble vine.
I have planted you a noble vine. I've made you holy. Right? I've given you sanctuaries for you to heal. I've given you prophets that have my divine wisdom. I've given you understanding. I've given you new moons that you broke most of your life. I've given you 7-day Sabbaths. I've given you Day of Atonement. When I said in Leviticus 23 that if you do not keep the Day of Atonement, you shall die. How many Day of Atonements have each and every one of us broken? 50. You're right. I got 53. Well, it's been, I can't count. Okay, 53, carry the 1 plus 2. I still can't count. Thank you, sir. 50 years. I'll take that. 50 years of breaking God's commandments, Day of Atonements. 50 years. And you think in 14 years and keeping the commandments, I'm going to be okay? No, I'm not okay. I'm not freaking okay. I still got things inside of my spirit that I got to fix. I still got things inside of me that are broken, that needs healing before the Lord. It's never going to be a time in your life in these commandments to where you're going to be 100%. It's a process until Christ get here. Right? Did y'all say y'all already? Okay. Go ahead.
Holy a right seed. How then art thou turned into the degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me?
A degenerate. Hold that right there. Give me that Ezekiel 36:22. Thou hast become a degenerate plant. A degenerate plant. You know what degenerate is? Since IT is not working for me back there. Degenerate definition. Degenerate means debased, corrupt, bastard, right? Having lost the physical, mental, or moral qualities considered normal and desirable, showing evidence of decline. God said we become that degenerate plant. We have no physical, mental, or moral qualities that the Bible teaches us to have. Instead, what do we have? Adulteries, murder, hatred, envy. We love drugs. Anything the flesh desires, that's what we love. We become degenerate. Read that.
Ezekiel chapter 36, verse 22. Therefore say unto the house of Israel, Thus saith the Lord God, I do not this for your sakes, O house of Israel, but for mine holy name's sake, which ye have profaned among the heathen.
You see what we done? They don't look at us as a holy people. They look at us as what? Degenerate, meaning what? Having no mental or moral qualities that's desirable. Don't nobody desire us. When another nation marry a black woman, it's for sex and money. And she's too stupid to realize it. She don't get it. And what do the brothers do? They go out there and find Big Booty Betty with the BBL. And if you look at some of those videos with BBLs, trying to find some nice words. They stink. They stink. They do. And some of these sorts of get infections where they get infections to the point to where maggots are growing in their backside because it sets up infection. Your ass is fake, your brain is fake, your breast is fake, your attitude's fake. We're immoral. That's the state of God's house. And if it's laughable when you look at our people's state of mind, if you look at it and you think it's something that to be mocked, then maybe you don't belong. Maybe you're in the wrong place. Because if you love God and you love his people, there should be no way that you can see the state of his people and it doesn't affect you or bother you in some way. Read that again.
Therefore say unto the house of Israel, thus saith the Lord God, I do not this for your sakes, O house of Israel, but for mine holy name's sake, which ye have profaned among the heathen, whither ye have went. And I will sanctify my great name, which was profaned among the heathen, which ye have profaned in the midst of them. And the heathen shall know that I am the Lord, saith the Lord God.
So how are we profaned God's name? Somebody help me. I just gave you the answer. Soldier. Hey, give Soldier the mic.
A Shalom leadership, Soldier Michael. We are in idolatry. We are, our women are out of order. We are in astonishment to the heathen nations. We don't keep no commandments. We don't keep any of the high holy days. And then we come into, when we do repent, we come in and we treat it like as if it was just the Christian church.
Right. Okay, I'm going to give you an example. I used to work for a particular job, right? And every day I went on my job, people saw I walk different, I talk different, I act different. And for a while, because of the way I conducted myself at work, I was respectful, I carried myself with integrity. There are certain things I just wouldn't do, certain conversations I wouldn't have. And what happened was people began to come to me with their problems out of nowhere. And I didn't open up the Bible. I'm at work. I didn't go through scriptures. I would speak wisdom into our people's lives that were broken. Right? One lady came to me out of nowhere and started pouring out her heart, telling me, she's like, well, you know, I'm traumatized. I can't sleep. I have insomnia. She said from the time I was like 8 to 15 years old, no, she said from the time she was like 2 till she was 15 years old, she said my mom in the middle of the summer used to lock me in the trunk of the car. And I was screaming. I was calling, Mommy, I can't get out. Help me. And she said, I don't know why she did that to me. And I began to speak to this lady because she needs healing. She's broken. That's our people. She was not in the kingdom. And as I began to speak to her, she got quiet. And she started crying. And she looked up into the sky. And she looked at me. and there was a peace that fell upon her face. And the next day, she looking for me. She was with another lady, and she was looking for me. She was like, sir, I want to say to you. She said, thank you. I feel healed today. She said, those things that you spoke to me, she said, I felt healing in my spirit. I want to just thank you so much. I didn't open up the Bible. I spoke life into this young lady. I told her how special she was. I told her, and it's not so much, any Christian can say that. It's the moral character in the spirit of a prophet or a prophetess that can bring healing to the people. It's a tangible substance. Healing does not come because I read a prescription to somebody. Healing can only come as the leader dedicated himself to the Spirit of Christ, and he gets healing. Now he can bring healing to others if they will accept it. So what I'm saying is that it ain't about how many scriptures you can quote and how many you can break down. Can you transform people's lives? Can you heal the state of mind of the people that are broken? Can you give people a sense of direction when they're hopeless? That's what it means to be a child of the living God. We have to be able to bring healing to each other. Right? Read.
Verse 23, and I will sanctify my great name, which was profaned among the heathen.
And I'm not bragging on myself, by no means. I'm just a man. But what I'm saying is that if you would give your heart to your king, guess what? He'll use you to do things that you wouldn't even imagine. Go ahead.
Which ye have profaned in the midst which you have profaned in the midst of them, and the heathen shall know that I am the Lord, saith the Lord God, when I shall be sanctified in you before their eyes.
You see that? They didn't realize that they were standing before a prophet of God. They didn't realize that. And even when I left the job, Shalom was with me. I had people gather around Shalom. I took him with me, right? I had people were gathered around him, speaking all these great things about the black man that live inside of me. They didn't know it was Christ. All these great things they were speaking, I was just looking, I was just smiling. Because a lot of the people that were there, I didn't go to their meetings for Christmas. I didn't go to their meetings for Thanksgiving. I didn't go to those. They was like, why are you not going? Well, because if it's not in the Bible, I don't do it. So some of them there began to. One supervisor, he tried to get me fired. He lied on me. I'm a no call, no show. Every day he was on my back, every freaking day trying to get me fired. Right? So guess what ended up happening? Everyone at the job, he did so much evil towards me. Sometimes I didn't say nothing. I just kept my mouth shut because he was trying to push my buttons. One day, the Lord had another supervisor in the other room. He didn't know she was there. She spoke. He was mad disrespectful. She saw me in the hallway. She was like, Maradasa, let me talk to you. I said, yes, ma'am. She said, let me tell you something. I heard everything that supervisor said to you. No one should ever be talked to like that. You're an adult. You're somebody here at this job. You do a great job here. People here like you, right? That's what she said to me. She said, I'm going to the HR and I'm going to report everything that just did to you. I said, yes, ma'am. She said, keep your head up. So guess what? Everyone at that job began to despise and hate this guy. And even after I left, he was on the verge of getting fired. And you know what? I never once disrespected this guy. You know why? What if he's a major prophet in the spirit? I still got to show forth myself as moral. I still got to conduct myself as a man that fear God. What, am I going to act like him because he's a brown nigga? I'm supposed to act like a black one? No, that's not how it works. Watch this.
Hi, I'm Clint Smith, and this is Crash Course Black American History. As we mentioned before, enslaved people resisted their condition in a range of different ways. Oftentimes, those ways were small and personal, slowing down the pace of work, pretending to be sick, purposefully misplacing your tools, things that might slow down the efficiency of the system and give back to the enslaved some small sense of agency. There were also times when that resistance took on larger, more dramatic forms, like with slave uprisings and rebellions. We should note that notions of what constitute as a successful versus an unsuccessful rebellion are often subjective, unhelpful, gendered, and can really obfuscate the significance of the fact that such a rebellion took place at all. Still, some of these uprisings have taken on notable historical significance. And today, we're going to talk about one of those, and that's the Stono Rebellion. Large plantations where black people outnumbered the white people who enslaved them were not at all uncommon to slavery in the Americas. This was especially true in South Carolina, where the colony was built on the demands of cash crop production. Raising cash crops like tobacco and rice gave rise to plantations that were designed to grow as much of that valuable crop as possible. And what those plantations needed, more than anything, was labor. The heavy reliance on slavery in the Southern colonial economy resulted in a vast expansion of the practice. In South Carolina, the high demand for enslaved labor led to a black majority in the colony. And by the year 1740, slavery in the colonies was no longer characterized only by African captives, but had grown to include black people who were born on American soil. The population of black people in South Carolina had risen to approximately 40,000 compared to 20,000 white people, making black people about 2/3 of the colony's entire population. Moreover, ships were still bringing large numbers of African captives into South Carolina, adding to the growing enslaved population there. And as the demographics of the colony continued to change, white planters began to worry about being so outnumbered and about the potential of violent resistance. But instead of, deciding that slavery was an unethical and morally unsustainable enterprise, they just decided to fight potential fire with fire. In response to the growing numbers of enslaved black people in the colony, in August of 1739, South Carolina passed the Security Act, requiring all...
Stop right there. Why do I want to show this? Hey, pull up that video. Pull up the one about the single mom. Why would I show that video? Because think about this. I want y'all to consider something. In 1860, there was approximately 4 million slaves in the South. There were 46,200 plantations, right? America's cotton alone was 75% of the world's economy. Cotton alone, right? That was only, 164 years ago. We fought like hell to get out of slavery underneath the oppression of the white man. Where's our fight today to get out of sin? Where is it? We don't fight to get out of sin. We're complacent. We're comfortable. Watch this. Let me show you something. Let me show you what going back to your sin would do. Y'all got that video? The thing with y'all. Let's play that one. Watch this.
On Sunday, February 25th, 2024, the Birmingham Police Department officers began investigating the missing persons case of 20-year-old Mahogany Jackson. Mahogany sent a text message to a family member that she had been kidnapped. Early the following day, officers and detectives discovered Mahogany's body in the 1700 block of Laurel Avenue. Investigators determined that she had been shot. With assistance from the community, detectives were not only able to locate Mahogany Jackson's body, but detectives took 7 suspects responsible for Mahogany's murder into custody within 48 hours of this investigation.
Message no parent should ever receive. Short, direct, terrifying. Send the police, apartment 3, held hostage. Don't call. Mahogany Jackson didn't use emojis. She didn't waste words. She didn't even sign her name. Because she couldn't. At just 20 years old, this young mother was fighting for her life inside a Birmingham apartment. Her last lifeline reduced to a single pinned location and a plea for help that couldn't come fast enough. She was afraid any sound, any call might alert her captors. So she chose silence. She chose strategy. She chose hope. Her mother immediately dialed 911. Police raced to the address, Serenity Apartments, Unit 3. But when they got there, the unit was empty. The walls were quiet. Mahogany was gone. What they didn't know, what no one could have imagined, was that in the hours leading up to that text, Mahogany had already endured unimaginable torture. She had been beaten, assaulted, humiliated, all while her attackers filmed it. They didn't just hurt her. They recorded her pain, shared it, laughed about it. Mahogany Jackson was not killed by strangers. She was executed by people she once trusted, people she'd known for years. And they didn't just take her life. They made sure the world could watch. What turns a group of friends into executioners? And why did no one stop it? If you're into real true crime stories, stories that dig deep into the facts and the people behind them, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe.
So when you look at the history of this, that young lady had a successful business, right? She moved on with her life. She left the hood, right? She moved on to want to make something of herself. She had people from her past that was always, she had a very kind and soft heart. She was always trying to befriend people from her past when they didn't belong in her present, right? When you, and what ended up happening is they became envious, jealous, right? And one of them stole a gun from her from her house, and they began to speak evil about her. They began to slander her name. She thinks she's better than we are. When you leave niggas in your past, that's where they belong. If you try to bring your past to your present, bad things are going to happen. So what am I saying with that? Is that some of us claim we're repenting and we're in God's house, but yet we still have associations on the regular, more with the people in the world than with those amongst the congregation. And eventually it's going to end bad. Give me that Amos 3. Then we'll go to Deuteronomy 8. Know what I want?
No, sir.
Verse 3.
Oh. Amos 3 and verse 3. Can two walk together except they be agreed? Will a lion roar in the forest when he hath no prey? Will a young lion cry of his den if he have taken nothing? Can a bird fall in a snare upon the earth where no gain is for him? Shall one take up a snare for the earth and have taken nothing at all? Shall a trumpet be blown in the city and the people not be afraid? Shall there be an evil in the city, and the Lord hath not done it? Surely the Lord will do nothing, but he revealeth his secrets unto his servants the prophets.
So when you begin to move forward in your life and you're prospering, God is filling you with the wisdom and with his spirit, what need do you have to return back to those things from your past that has done nothing for you but destroy your spirit? A lot of you sit amongst the congregation and your desire is the people from your past. How can you build with those in your present life if your desire is for those in your past life? So a lot of you are stagnant because you haven't made up your mind yet. You're unclean. You have not yet made up your mind that your heart belongs to God. Watch this. Give me 2 Chronicles 31 and 21.
The book of 2 Chronicles chapter 31 verse 21. In every work that he began in the service of the house of God and in the law and in
every service that you do in God's house and in his law, read.
In the house of God and in the law and in the commandments to seek his God, he did it with all his heart and prospered.
You see that? If your heart have not been given fully to God, when he's already given you his, nothing you ever going to do is going to prosper. I've not seen one person that have not given their whole heart to this truth and it's prospered. They sit amongst the congregation for a little while, those that don't, and they fade out. It's impossible for God to honor you if your heart does not belong to him. Like having a wife to come home to you every now and then because she out with all these other guys. What kind of filth is that? And you think you'll come in God's house and you're going to treat him the same way? Some of y'all crazy. Like, y'all, watch this. Deuteronomy 8, verse 1. Before we get that, give me, where's it at? Give me that. I don't know which video it is with the carnival. The brawl.
Now, you may have seen that viral video showing a wild scene on a Carnival cruise ship, an all-out brawl. If you haven't seen it, you're gonna. That violent fight involving dozens of people, and this morning we are now learning why cruisegoers came to blows. Ileana Diaz is joining us live with the latest, Ileana.
Hey, good morning, Mitch. Right now, that Carnival Magic is out to sea on another 8-day cruise, stopping in Puerto Rico and Turks and Caicos. But you just mentioned it. It's what happened on its last cruise that's taking a lot of people really for shock. Take a look at this video. This is what happened. Police say this dance floor fight started between two people, then others quickly joined in. By the time the brawl was broken up, anywhere from 40 to 60 people were involved in this brawl. Passengers who witnessed the fight say it started over cheating allegations. It happened just before 5:30 Tuesday morning on the final night of the ship's 8-day cruise. Passengers punched and shoved each other while an outnumbered ship security guard tried to break it all up. Cruise officials called the U.S. Coast Guard for an escort back to the dock, and New York police and paramedics were there when the ship arrived. Carnival Magic released a statement saying a number of guests were involved in an altercation in a nightclub. Thankfully, no serious injuries were reported, and our onboard security team intervened. Meanwhile, in the Pacific Ocean, another cruise ship incident. This time, this one forcing an early return to Seattle after hitting an iceberg on an Alaskan cruise.
I was just surprised on the sheer size of it. Like,
Okay,
it was sort of real.
So that's the nature of a people that's become degenerate. We're immoral, and Carnival Cruise has passed out a whole new set of laws to keep black people off the ships. Y'all, you can't blame them. Don't nobody want to go on a bunch of ratchet niggas is? They fighting over what? Give me that again. Hosea 4:2.
The book of Hosea, chapter 4, verse 2. By swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery.
What was the brawl about?
By swearing.
Allegation of adultery. You're on a cruise ship fighting each other because of adultery. We are that degenerate plant. And you know what? Some of us may laugh at them, but some of us are just a step away from being just like them. Some of us are in God's house and we got the same spirit as them niggas on the ship. The same spirit. Some of us think we're better than that when we're just a moment away from falling to be just like them.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 2, verse 21. Yet I have planted thee a noble vine, wholly a right seed. How then art thou turned into a degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me?
Degenerate, meaning what? Having lost the physical, mental, or moral qualities considered normal and desirable. Who in the hell going to desire some garbage like that? Don't nobody desire to be amongst us as a nation. Can you blame them? I don't even want to be around niggas. White folks don't want to be around them either. You can't blame them, but guess what? Because there are people. So again, what happens to us? What happens as a result of there being our people? Give me the Psalms 25 real quick. Psalms 25. Give me verse 1.
The book of Psalms, chapter 25, verse 1. Unto thee, O Lord, do I lift up my soul. O my God, I trust in thee. Let me not be ashamed. Let not my enemies triumph over me.
What's happening to us right now? That's shameful. I'm ashamed. Those are my people on a boat fighting in the midst of the water, in the middle of the sea, over adultery. And all the nations are laughing at it. But what do? World Star, Whoop his ass, bro. Yeah, get her. She shouldn't have did that. Meanwhile, you saying Warsaw, but yeah, you're going to sleep with her the next week too. That's what we fall into. We are degenerate, immoral, disgusting people outside of God's commandments and his laws. Read.
Yea, let none that wait on thee be ashamed. Let them be ashamed which transgress without cause.
You see that? They should be ashamed of their actions, but they're not. They should be. Read.
Show me thy ways, O Lord. Teach me thy paths. Lead me in thy truth and teach me. For thou art the God of my salvation. On thee do I wait all the day. Remember, O Lord, thy tender mercies and thy loving kindness, for they have been ever of old. Remember not the sins of my youth, nor my transgressions. According to thy mercy, remember thou me.
You see what God is saying? Lord, don't remember my forgotten hatred for you. I'm past that, Lord. Have mercy upon my old filthy ways, because I'm trying to get my mind and my spirit right. That's what we all should be thinking right now. There's no way you can ever heal before God if you still have things inside of you that you refuse to fix. Let's drop that. Let's go back to Ezekiel 36.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 36, verse 25. Then will I sprinkle.
Start at 24.
Verse 24. For I will take you from among the heathen and gather you out of all countries.
God said, I'm going to take you from all the other nations. I'm going to take you out of the Christianity, out of Islam, out of sorcery. I'm going to take you out of the world. I'm going to take you out from among all the other nations. Right? Go ahead.
And will bring you into your own land. Then will I sprinkle clean water upon you, and ye shall be clean. From all your filthiness and from all your idols will I cleanse you. A new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit will I put within you. And I will take away the stony heart out of your flesh, and I will give you an heart of flesh.
What is that stony heart, brothers? Name it. What's the stony heart? Name some sin. Adultery. Hatred. Covetousness. Idolatry. Right? So, God is telling us that stone, give me that in Deuteronomy 10 and 16. I think that's it. This is what God is telling us. If we desire God, he will desire us back. If we hate God, he will hate us back. If you see what happened on the cruise, that's not the love of God. That's God's wrath. And honestly, if you're fighting on international waters, that's a federal offense. No charges has been. Some of those cruises, there have been no charges. 24 people have been banned for life. But eventually, they're not going to allow black people on any, right, places of business that were, okay, thank you. That means I'm out of time. They're eventually not going to allow any of us as so-called Negroes and chosen people. They're not going to allow us anywhere where white folks are and where they're actually having a good time and we can socialize, right? Because they don't want us amongst them, and I don't blame them, right? When I go out and I take my family out, I don't go to no bunch of young ass niggas there. I don't go to places like that. I go to where old heads go, then where people are gonna have some class and some self-respect and some dignity. I look like getting towards some Negro because I stepped on his shoe. I'm too old for that shit. I ain't dealing with that shit. No. So I stay away from where black people go. All right, watch this. What you got?
So Deuteronomy 10, verse 16. Circumcise therefore the foreskin of your heart, and be no more stiff-necked. For the Lord your God is God of gods, the Lord of lords, a great God, a mighty and terrible, which regardeth not the persons nor taketh reward.
So you see, so God is saying, get rid of your stony heart. I desire to give you a fleshly heart, a heart that can change, a heart that desires me, a heart that has no more forgotten hatred in it. Because sometimes, I'm telling you what happens is that because we have secret forgotten hatred inside of us, our hearts become hardened. We become uncorrectable. We become to the point to where our desire is sin. There's nothing no one else can do about it. Your mind is fixated, and then at that point, you're done.
What is a nation? Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models.